There is a silence that does not come from effort, a stillness not made by discipline or control. It is not the silence of a quiet room or an empty forest, but the silence that arises when the mind stops chasing itself. Have you ever noticed how each thought rushes to fix, to arrange, to reach? From the moment we wake, there is a movement to become, to achieve, to improve, to protect. Even in meditation, we often struggle to do something, to reach a state of calm by force. But what if the very effort to become is the barrier to true freedom? Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "Freedom is not at the end of discipline. Freedom is at the beginning." What happens if, for a moment, you drop every idea of progress? No plan to perfect yourself, no ladder to climb, no spiritual goal waiting ahead. Listen, beneath the noise of wanting, there is a vast space that has never moved. It is here before thought begins, here before effort tries to capture it. It is like the open sky that does not need to be cleaned, or the ocean that does not need to be calmed. It simply is. Doing nothing does not mean being lazy. It is not indifference or escape. It is the highest action because it is action without the shadow of the me, without the endless push of becoming. It is a living presence, a movement without motive. Can you sense it now? This very instant, without preparation, without the next breath belonging to the future. The birds outside, the soft hum of life in the room, the pulse of your own heart, all happen without your will. Life is unfolding by itself, and you are not separate from it. As you listen, there is no need to agree or disagree. No need to gather these words as knowledge. Just notice the quiet gap between each thought, the space where no effort exists. Stay there, not as someone staying, but as the quiet itself. If these moments of gentle listening awaken something inside you, a taste of the stillness that is already here, you are welcome to walk with us in future meditations. This channel offers reflections that invite silence, not as a technique, but as a living reality. Feel free to subscribe, not as an act of ambition, but simply to remain in dialogue with this shared quiet. Doing nothing is not the end of life's movement. It is the flowering of life itself. It is where action and non-action meet, where time dissolves into the freshness of now. Stay with this question as we journey deeper. What is it to live without trying to become? To move without a center of effort? To let life, in its vast intelligence, act through you as silence? The mind is restless by habit. It has been trained for centuries to act, to plan, to correct. Every movement of thought carries a subtle whisper. I must become, perhaps better, safer, richer, more enlightened. This whisper is so familiar that we rarely question it. But what if the very search for change is the source of our confusion? Observe quietly. From the moment we wake, a stream of thoughts rushes in. Lists of tasks, memories of yesterday, the taste of an old regret, the soft ache of a desire waiting to be fulfilled. Each thought pulls the next like a chain. We call this normal life. Yet, in this constant movement, there is hardly a moment of true seeing. Krishnamurti often reminded us, to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. What happens when you look at a thought without calling it good or bad? A memory of an argument, a spark of jealousy, a sudden fear about tomorrow. Can you watch it as you would watch a cloud drift across the sky? No name, no judgment, just the movement of mind. Notice how, when you do this, there is a brief stillness, not because you forced the mind to stop, but because observation itself is quiet. Like a deer pausing in the forest, attention holds everything without effort. This quiet is not created by time or will. It comes when the observer is not separate from the observed. Think of a river. When you fight the current, the water resists and pulls harder. But when you float, the river carries you effortlessly. Doing nothing is like floating. It is not passivity. It is alignment with the natural intelligence of life. Action still happens. You walk, speak, work, but the action is not born from struggle. Perhaps you notice anxiety in the chest, a tightening when thinking of a deadline or a conversation you fear. Usually we rush to escape this discomfort, to explain it, to suppress it, to fix it. But what if you simply stay with the sensation? Let the warmth, the trembling, the pulse of fear be fully felt, not as a problem to solve, but as a movement of life. When there is pure observation, the fear unfolds and changes on its own. Krishnamurti said, "In the very observation of what is, without the observer, there is the ending of conflict." This is not a theory. It is a fact you can touch now. Watch the mind as it worries, and see how the worry shifts when it is met with silent attention. The energy of struggle dissolves into clarity. Look around the room. A shaft of light falls on the floor. The faint hum of electricity. The breath moving in and out. All of this is happening without your control. You are not making the heart beat or the planet spin. Life is alive without your effort. Can you feel how extraordinary that is? Perhaps a thought arises. If I do nothing, won't my life fall apart? Who will pay the bills? Who will care for the children? Doing nothing does not mean abandoning responsibility. It means living without the inner noise of constant becoming. You still cook, work, love, create. But the action flows from a mind that is quiet, not from a mind chasing an image of success or security. Imagine a tree in a storm. Its branches bend and sway. It does not resist the wind, nor does it collapse in fear. It simply moves with the whole. This is the quality of action we speak of. A life responsive, intelligent, alive, yet free of the burden of me striving to be something. There is a deep peace hidden in ordinary moments. When washing a cup, when walking without a destination, when listening to a bird at dawn. In such moments, time stops. You are not the doer. There is only the doing. This is not mystical. It is utterly simple. The mind, free of self-centered movement, meets life freshly, moment to moment. Pause now. Feel the breath enter and leave without command. Notice the sounds in the distance. Let thoughts come and go like leaves floating on water. You do not need to push them away. The quiet space in which they appear is infinite and untouched. As you rest in this space, there may be a subtle joy, not the excitement of pleasure, but the gentle warmth of being. Krishnamurti called this the perfume of freedom. Cannot be sought. It appears when the mind is still, when doing nothing. Perhaps you feel a resonance with these words. If so, allow this channel to be a companion in quiet exploration. Consider subscribing, not as a routine click, but as a silent gesture to stay connected with this inquiry. Together we can keep opening to the vastness of silence. Each visit a gentle reminder to listen. The question remains alive. Can we live each day, with family, with work, with the unpredictable movements of the world, from this effortless silence? Not occasionally, but as the very ground of existence? Let the next breath arrive by itself. There is no need to guide it. Notice how life breathes you. This simple fact contains a profound truth. Existence unfolds without the push of the self. Often we believe we must constantly manage life. Plans, goals, improvements, all seem necessary to keep everything from falling apart. Yet, if you watch closely, much of life's movement is already beyond control. The seasons turn. The heart beats. Love arises and fades like a tide. Awareness itself appears without effort. Krishnamurti once said, "The moment you try to change what is, you create conflict." To see this is not resignation. It is a clarity that frees action from struggle. Action then becomes like breathing, natural, precise, without the distortion of fear or ambition. Consider how you walk through a garden path. When you stop thinking about how to move your feet, the body flows with grace. If you try to control every step, the walk stiffens. Life is like that. The more we interfere, the heavier each movement feels. Look at the common experiences of fear and desire. Fear might rise when you imagine losing someone you love, or when the unknown future seems dark. Desire may rush in when you see something beautiful, a house, a person, a possibility of success. Ordinarily, we chase desire and resist fear. This chase and resistance is effort. But what if you simply watch both currents? As you might watch waves coming and going on a shore, without clinging, without escape. In that watchful silence, something extraordinary happens. Fear shows its true nature, a fleeting movement of thought, not an unshakable reality. Desire reveals itself as energy, vibrant but not demanding possession. The mind discovers that it is larger than its contents. Krishnamurti spoke of choiceless awareness. He meant an observation without preference, not choosing the pleasant and avoiding the unpleasant, but allowing the whole field of experience to unfold. In choiceless awareness, action is not frozen, it becomes pure intelligence. The right response flows without the noise of should or must. Perhaps you have felt a hint of this when listening to music that moves you deeply. For a moment there is only sound. No listener, no commentary. Or when standing before a vast mountain, breathless at its beauty, there is only seeing. These glimpses show the mind's natural state, when the self is not interfering. Doing nothing is the doorway to this state. It is the ending of effort that allows life to reveal its own order. The river of existence needs no map. When the mind stops trying to direct it, a deeper harmony becomes evident. And yet, the world will still call. Responsibilities, relationships, creativity, these remain, but they are met from a place of inner quiet. You answer an email, comfort a child, solve a problem at work, but there is no center pushing for recognition or control. This is action of a different quality. Simple, precise, free. Pause again. Listen to the room around you, the subtle hum of life, the distant rhythm of the world moving. Can you sense the vast space in which all sounds rise and fade? This space is not outside you. It is the very nature of awareness. When the mind is truly quiet, there is a sense of unity with all things, not an idea of oneness, but a living fact. The boundary between me and world softens. The bird's song is not separate from the ear that hears it. The breath is not separate from the air that fills it. Everything is one movement of life. This insight does not belong to time. It is not a reward for years of practice. It is present now, like a spring hidden beneath the ground, waiting to flow when the digging stops. Sometimes a gentle doubt arises. If I stop striving, will I lose purpose? But see how purpose driven by ego often leads to tension. The quiet purpose of life, to live fully, to care, to create, does not require ambition. It blossoms naturally, like a flower opening to sunlight. Krishnamurti said, "When the mind is completely still, that which is sacred can take place." Sacred does not mean something far away or mystical. It is the simple holiness of the present moment, untouched by the grasping mind. It is the breeze moving through leaves, the silent wonder of existence itself. If these reflections touch something deep in you, allow them to stay alive. You might wish to revisit this meditation, to let the quiet deepen in daily life. Feel free to subscribe or share, if you sense that others could also be nourished by this space. Each small gesture helps the silence spread, not as noise, but as an invitation to peace. Now imagine meeting each day from this ground of stillness, waking without the heavy luggage of yesterday, speaking without hidden motives, listening without waiting to reply. This is not a distant ideal. It is available the moment thought ceases to grasp. Let this understanding grow gently. Do not force it. Even now, as these words end, the living silence continues. It was here before the first word, and will remain after the last. There is a quiet turning that happens when we stop seeking. Not a dramatic event, not fireworks in the sky, but a subtle shift as natural as dawn breaking over a still lake. It begins when the mind finally sees that every attempt to become something, to be calmer, wiser, more spiritual, is itself the very movement of disturbance. Up to this point, we may have believed that silence must be created. We tried breathing techniques, repeated mantras, planned moments of stillness, but all these efforts carry a hidden demand. I must achieve silence. That I is the noise. The effort is the barrier. Krishnamurti expressed it simply, the ending of becoming is the beginning of being. When there is no becoming, the mind no longer divides life into now and later, success and failure, sacred and ordinary. The endless chase loses its power. Imagine standing at the edge of an ocean. For years you have been trying to hold the waves still. You scoop the water, build walls, search for a technique to calm the sea. One day you simply stop. In that instant you discover the ocean has never needed your control. Its vast rhythm is beauty itself. This is the highest action of doing nothing. Not apathy, but freedom. Freedom from the compulsion to fix yourself, to justify your existence through achievement or virtue. The silence that remains is not lifeless. It is alive, luminous, creative. From it, right action flows without effort. Look again at an ordinary day. You rise, make tea, care for those you love, speak with colleagues, face uncertainty. From the outside, life may look the same, but inwardly, everything has changed. Because there is no center struggling to become. There is no conflict between what is and what should be. Action is direct, clean, immediate. This is why doing nothing is the highest action. It is action without the shadow of motive. When the mind is silent, its intelligence is vast and precise. It knows when to speak and when to be quiet, when to move and when to rest. It is like a clear mirror, reflecting exactly what is needed in each moment. Perhaps you have glimpsed this in a crisis, when there was no time to think, and the right response appeared spontaneously, or in moments of deep love, when words came effortlessly, purely from the heart. These are tastes of action born from silence, beyond the calculating self. In this seeing, the old habits of struggle lose meaning. The fear of missing out, the hunger for recognition, the need to control others, all fade like mist in morning light. What remains is a freshness untouched by time. Pause and notice. The breath entering now is entirely new. It has never been here before. This moment is not a continuation of yesterday. It is creation itself. The mind, quiet and attentive, meets life as if for the first time. Krishnamurti once said, "In the freshness of observation lies the timeless." This timelessness is not far away. It is here when thought ceases to measure. In that dimension, love is not memory, peace is not an achievement, and death itself loses its sting. You may feel a soft wonder rising, like the gentle widening of a horizon. It is not something you do. It is what remains when the doer is absent. Life reveals its own order, its own sacredness. If this realization touches you, let it ripple quietly into the world. You might feel moved to share these reflections with someone who longs for inner peace. You may invite them to listen, not as a teaching to follow, but as a mirror to their own silent truth. A simple way to help is to share this meditation, or leave a comment about your experience. Even these small gestures can carry the fragrance of quiet into places where noise once ruled. Understand that nothing special is required now. No final step, no closing formula. The transformation is in the seeing itself. The seeing that happens outside of time, without effort, without the seeker. As you listen to the fading sounds of this moment, feel how life continues to unfold. Without your management, birdsong begins, a breeze moves a curtain, the heart beats. This is the living proof that doing nothing is not emptiness. It is wholeness expressing itself. Remain here if only for a breath. Let the mind be vast like the evening sky. Nothing to reach, nothing to add, just the simple miracle of being. Let everything soften now. The journey of words is ending, yet what truly matters is beyond these sounds. Sit quietly for a moment. Feel the simple rhythm of breathing. No command, no effort, just the gentle rise and fall, like waves meeting the shore. Notice how silence is not something you create. It is here unasked, waiting beneath every thought. The mind may wonder what comes next, but there is no next, only this vast living now. Here, doing nothing is not absence. It is fullness. The trees outside grow without your plan. The stars burn without your approval. Life continues as one seamless movement, and you are not separate from it. Perhaps there is a soft joy, a quiet recognition that you are whole. Not the you of roles and memories, but the pure being that simply is. This being does not need improvement. It does not strive. It only shines. Krishnamurti once said, "When you are nothing, You are everything. Can you sense how liberating that is? No image to defend, no future to chase, only the open space of existence, like a clear sky after rain. As you rest in this stillness, let the sounds of the world come and go. A bird calling, a distant hum of life. They are not interruptions. They are part of the silence. If these reflections have touched your heart, consider allowing them to continue quietly in your life, not as something to remember or practice, but as a natural presence that flows into each action. And if you wish, you may gently share this space with others. Subscribe to this channel, leave a comment about the moments of insight that appeared, or pass this meditation along to someone you care about. Such gestures are not duties. They are simple extensions of silence into the world. Feel the earth beneath you, the steady support of the ground. Life has always carried you, even when the mind was busy with plans. Doing nothing does not stop this support. It reveals it. The vast intelligence of life has never depended on your constant effort. Allow a final deep breath. Let it go without holding. Notice the space that remains, when even the idea of listening dissolves. This is not an ending. It is the quiet beginning of every moment. Stay here as long as you like, in the effortless presence that is your true nature. If this meditation resonated in your heart, we invite you to subscribe, leave a gentle comment about your inner discoveries, and share this video so that others may also touch the peace that needs no cause. The words fall silent now, but the stillness remains, boundless, timeless, the simple miracle of being.